It's about how well you run it and how well you look at the deals and structure the deals. When you scale, I feel, and this is just me, everyone's different. Some people have probably been worse off, better off, right? Everyone's situation is a little unique. But what I feel is you get to a point where you might start losing some profit if you decide to grow and keep going. You might get to a point where now economies of scale kick in. But one thing I realized is like when you do start scaling, there's going to be a point where you have to get some services. You have to hire some people.
Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. This is your essential playbook to grow and scale your vacation rental business with advice and insights from the best in the biz. I'm your host, Linnell Gordon. Welcome to the Vacation Rental Show. I am Linnell Gordon, your host, and I am really excited to have Derek DeCesere of Sandstays, who's the CEO there. They are a Maine-based property management company, and he spent over a decade in the short-term rental world, helping owners simplify their operations, scale smart, and deliver consistent, great guest experiences, which we all know that's the core of what we do. Derek and his team have managed more than 200 properties and hosted more than 25,000 reservations. And they've generated, okay, guys, you got to hear this, up to 10,000. I think it's over 10,000 now, 5-star reviews, which is really phenomenal. So you know that he is deeply hands-on with everything he's doing with his systems, his technology, and his people. So from creative financing strategies, which I would love to talk about, to building this scalable operation that he's done without losing this personal touch. Because with 5-star ratings, you have a great personal touch. So Derek is going to bring a practical, real-world perspective on, guys, what it actually takes to grow a sustainable vacation rental business. Welcome, Derek. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Linnell.
So you've managed everything from short-term rentals to motels, and you've scaled to hundreds of properties. What advice would you give property managers who are looking to grow their company? And I know that's a very large, broad subject, but I'd like for you to have the opportunity to say whatever you want to say about that. Your best real-world advice.
It's a good question. And you're right. It's broad and can go a lot of different ways. I think the easiest thing to say is just get yourself out there and do whatever you can, which is also a broad answer. But when you're starting and you're not really sure of what to do, it's just doing anything and testing everything. You're putting yourself out there. You're telling people what you do. You're doing the best job you can. You're learning. Your name starts to get out there. It's kind of serendipitous where you get these opportunities that pop up just because people are saying, hey, use this guy, use this person, check them out. You know, you're trying different marketing things. Just it seems sloppy in a way, but that's really what I did. And that's how you learn. Like you might say, well, I'm not sure if this is going to work. It's like, just try it, right? Just do your best job, try it. I've done everything from referrals, realtor relationships, meeting people at dinner parties, people reaching out on the internet. That wasn't even like our Google profile, just like we randomly came across them. We've done direct mail, even ringless voicemails, cold calls, cold emails, warm emails, like all this stuff that you just try. And you might get a property here or there from a couple of those things, which is great. And you also have some big winners. Like we've done a lot of direct mail over the years, and that's, you know, it gets pricey, but it's been a really good way to get a return on our dollar and brought us a lot of deals. But you just don't know if you don't try. Like some things are so cheap to try. So you just might as well just do them and try them out and put your best foot forward and say, okay, might work, might not, but maybe we spend $100 on doing something simple and try that out. Or I'll go to some events and just get my name out there. And you don't always get an immediate deal, but you're planting a lot of seeds, right? I'm not really huge on like local networking events, but I did a few. And then all of a sudden you just have people kind of reach out to you from doing it, right? It might be a few weeks later, it might be a few months later, right? But it's not going to happen if you don't get out there and do it. So that would be kind of my advice if they're looking to grow. Just get out there and figure it out. You can always talk to people like me and other people that have had some experience, but I think they tell you the same thing that, hey, look, we're not all pros in this. We're actually just doing the best we can to get our next deal and looking what works and trying to repeat it.
Many people would think that more doors, more properties automatically mean more profit. What's the biggest misconception that you see about scaling in your vacation rental? What were you surprised about?
That is not exactly that. It's about how well you run it and how well you look at the deals and structure the deals. When you scale, I feel, and this is just me, everyone's different. Some people have probably been worse off, better off, right? Everyone's situation is a little unique. But what I feel is you get to a point where you might start losing some profit if you decide to grow and keep going. You might get to a point where now economies of scale kick in. But one thing I realized is like when you do start scaling, there's going to be a point where you have to get some services. You have to hire some people. And at first you have to pay extra to do that, right? Because you might hit a point where all of a sudden I have 30 properties. Now I need another person. Well, then now I can handle up to 20 more properties with that person. But until I get there, right, the cost is still there. So it's really this balance point, right? And one of the mistakes I made, I know you'd ask this.
That is my next question. You're like reading my mind today for some reason. What's the biggest mistake you've made in growing?
I was so excited to grow and I just liked it so much. It wasn't necessarily like, oh, I just want to make more money. I liked it so much. I just thought like getting more properties was like what you're supposed to do. And because I had never done it before and I didn't really have anyone to like help show me the ropes, I bought a lot of shiny objects and services that I wasn't even able to give like the time of day. I forgot about it. And then all of a sudden you're looking at thousands and thousands of dollars a month on these services. You're like, oops, like we haven't even used some of these or been able to like give them the time of day to really try it. And I heard another property manager say something like you should maybe only do one or two every 3-4 months or something. So you can give them a really good go and then move on to the next one, which I thought was great. And I've heard that people made that mistake before. I've heard that come up with a lot of other managers that they bought a lot of shiny objects. And it's hard. You go to like Verma, right? And there's all these great products and services and companies. And you're like, ooh, like this and this and this, right? And they're all good, but you really got to pick a few that benefit you the most, at least a couple at a time. The other part was hiring a lot of people too. Like I hired a lot of team members that I thought I was going to get or need. And I did. But then it makes it hard. Like if you just hire too fast because you're excited about growing, then you got to find something for them to do. And it's probably not very exciting for them. Right. And then you quickly see, okay, well, I didn't need this many people, but I don't want to let them go because I'll need them eventually. And so that was another part of it.
Wow. So, that's really interesting because I've asked that same question to other property managers and they've given the opposite. They've said, I wished I'd hired sooner. So I think there must be a place where that happens. As Sand Stays grew, what was the first operational area that you had technology-wise or systemized something to protect your guest experience? Because you've kept your guest experience. You can know that from your 5-star reviews.
Messages, hands down, it was messages that we had to do. I remember starting early on, I handled a lot of it like a lot of us do. We have a ton of hats. And I just remember at the time putting my infant son to bed. I just laid him down and he's sleeping. And I would always stay in the room for a while until he fully fell asleep. And I'm sitting there in the chair and I just felt my mind, thought I had a panic attack. I felt my mind just have this like rush and this flood. And I knew it was for messages because I would have to check them like every hour. And I handle a lot of them myself. And then when I sat down, I said, I can't do this. Like I literally, this is the point. Like here we are. Like, and that's the thing. When you grow, every step is farther than you've ever been before. And that's when like my body was just like, you need someone to handle the messages. So that was like the first operational thing that I said, yep, I got to find someone. And I found someone pretty quick. And then another, because that was something that I knew, like every property you add, especially in the short-term rental space, you get a lot of messages. So I knew that was going to grow pretty quick. So, but that was the first operational step I took to try to keep the experience good. Because if you don't answer people, right, or if you see a reply or something they need for maintenance or something's going on or a question, like they might not be upset, but maybe they don't book, or maybe they do start to get upset or try to figure something out themselves and their 5-star turns into a 4-star before they leave and all of that.
So talking about that 5-star reviews, what's one operational detail that consistently has an impact on guest satisfaction? Looking at your operations and you say, I know that that's why we got our 5-star. I know that's why we got this 5-star. What's one of those details that consistently outperforms other things on your guest satisfaction?
Speed. Although for the audience, I want to be clear that unfortunately, and we've probably all done it, we've gotten 1-star reviews, the dreaded 1-star review. Like we've gotten those, right? And some were on us and some were certainly not on us. As everyone knows, there's plenty of unfair people out there. But I don't want to sit here and say, oh yeah, no, we're perfect. We made mistakes, but we try to learn and adjust from them. And it's hard. But yeah, speed would probably be that factor. Now, you don't want to just be some boring, bland person when you reach back out and say, oh, yeah, we'll get back to you. But speed is good because people don't want to feel like forgotten.
In communication.
Yeah. Whatever is going on, it's important to them. And it might be something simple like, hey, they might say, when we leave, we just want to let you know you can do this. But in most cases, like whatever it is, it's important to them. So they at least want to hear that, okay, someone's on it. I'm not going to get blamed for this. It's infecting my vacation. Can someone help? Or my trip? Can someone help? They just need some guidance, right? So speed is usually good because at least you can say, I'm not sure. Give me 10 minutes and let me check and see how fast we get maintenance people out there. So it's really speed, which is a lot of work because it's a lot of back and forth. It's more messages, right? You communicate with your cleaners or your maintenance people, then you got to get back to the guests. And then it's a lot, but that's what I would say in one word is speed, how fast you can get back to them.
What was the hardest responsibility for you to let go of in your company when you started to grow? And how did you know that it was the right time to let that go and delegate that?
Actually, it kind of felt good to let a lot of stuff go, like once you actually are good with it. So I'm not sure if it was hard once you start seeing that, hey, it's not as scary as you think.
What I want to get at here is what do we as property managers, what do we hold on to that we should probably let go of sooner rather than later?
I think the hardest thing, and maybe some other managers can relate, is that it's unknown, right? Like you know what you can do and can't do and what you're going to do. And you're worried, especially maybe if you're a micromanager or they might say a control freak, which I'm not really, of are they going to do it? Is it going to get done? How do I know it's going to get done? And at some point, you just have to trust that you've got the right person in there, right? Follow up every once in a while. You can check if it makes you feel comfortable that I got done. And eventually you'll say, okay, yeah, those things are getting done. But I think it was the unknown of, are these things actually going to get done if I delegate them, right? And some people are like, is it going to get done as well as I did it? And sometimes no. And sometimes, yeah, it's going to get done better than you did it.
Yeah, 100%. And with AI becoming more common in our industry, and as a matter of fact, we can't live without it. I'll just be real frank. I don't believe that we can live without it. No, I wouldn't want to go back there. How do you choose between the things that you use AI for, but still making sure that guest experience is personal and human? How do you balance that? What things can you let go to AI and what things do you say, never will I do that?
I don't think there's anything never yet. It's making it worse if we do it, right? So I see something coming out right now where it can help with phone calls, but I still think that has a ways to go where a person is going to see through it and get just more frustrated. So if they have a phone call, it's good that they can talk to a person because it's usually a pretty quick thing, right? So they can sympathize with that person. Say, hey, hold on, let me text my maintenance person right now. We're on the phone. But I try to have us use AI for anything that we can because a lot of stuff is repetitive. So a lot of messages can be handled by AI and have a great tone. There's a lot of like routine things that can be handled by AI as well, especially in this space. So my thought is like anything that we can use AI for, we should, not to be lazy, but most of the time it can do a better job, faster and cheaper. And in that way, our team can maybe focus on more of the personal things like actual phone call, right?
I love that.
You can't have AI do cleaning or maintenance.
Yeah, that's true. The Vacation Rental Show has partnered with Rental Guardian to bring the vacation rentals market custom protection products built for the needs of the vacation rental industry. Enjoy complete protection for both your travelers and your owners via the industry's leading travel, damage, and liability protection products. Learn more about the travel tech industry's most advanced travel and damage protection platform and API at rentalguardian.com. At your scale of a business, it can easily consume you. I know that because my family has a property management company and they keep it intentionally right around that size within 50 or so. They want to be at, around that 200 mark. They have a lot of luxury rentals and it's completely consuming it. You mentioned having an infant. So I know you have kids. What do you do to help stay present for your family? Because we all know it is an all-consuming job.
Again, another great question. I give them the time. I've just really passed off a lot of responsibility and I give them most of my weekends, right? My evenings, and I just work as hard as I can from the typical 9 to 5, it's really like 9 to 3, and give them the rest. I have a good team, and that's been something that I've been able to work with and trust. And that gives me that time for my family. I mean, I'm really ambitious and there's a lot of things I want to do and try and ups and downs and things I want to learn, but I feel pretty fulfilled and good when I give them that time. And that's pretty important. So I give them the time by just committing and using my team and just saying, I'm here if anyone needs anything, but most of the time, most everything they can handle. So that's the time I've been able to give to my family and how I've been able to create some balance.
You're talking about excitement as you go forward. Tell me about what the next chapter for Sand Stays looks like. What does your success look like beyond just growth or revenue? What are you looking to do with your business now?
So great question, a great time. It's growth in a different way than unit count. And even though I would like to increase unit count, we've kind of decreased it the past year a little bit. So we can take a couple steps back and grow. We do a lot of management. We do a lot of lease arbitrage. We've kind of cut back on that, finding more about the right properties. But what we've started to do is not just a typical management. We've gotten into helping some owners with certain aspects of what they need help with. So some owners don't want full service management. They want help with messages, listing optimization, pricing. And before it's like, hey, this is all we do, right? Which is easier sometimes to say, this is all we do and just put everything in that box and grow. But we've been growing more methodically and saying, hey, every time we have an opportunity, why don't we talk to them and see what they want? Because we've been able to pick up some more properties where they wouldn't have done business if it's just full service management. They wanted some pricing, right? So we're able to help them with that. And the same thing goes with some of the small motels we've been working with. It's not full service management. It's some of them need different things. And we've been able to start growing that way. So the growth in my mind is that we're going to start to pick up properties that are just single short-term rentals and small boutique motels and cater services to them, almost like an a la carte, and grow that way. And a lot of the times, Linnell, it's actually the technology aspect. That's what it's something to do with technology. Like they need a new PMS, or they have an old PMS, so they're using spreadsheets, or they're still signing papers from people come in, or they don't even have the time to use the dynamic pricing. That's what our team is good at. So we're going to really try to be more of like a technology support type property manager for a lot of these opportunities coming into us. So I think we're going to grow and have a lot of properties, which I would love to get to 200, 300, 400, but it's not full service managing those. It's helping them in the back end with the things they don't have time to set up, to maintain, and just kind of be there for them when they need something new. So that's kind of what I see for growth in the future.
I would like you to tell me your favorite guest or homeowner story.
Favorite guest or homeowner story. I don't deal with guests that much anymore for a while, so I don't really have a favorite guest story. I will say it's nice when guests leave my team things. I think that's always kind of really kind. I would say favorite homeowner story. This was over a decade ago, I think. So I was on Craigslist, and this is when I was just starting to like dabble in short-term rentals, right? And I only had like one or two, and I had these for a couple of years, and I leased these. And I was on Craigslist, always like posting ads. And this is before Zillow really like blew up of looking for properties. And that's how I was networking, right? Because I'm not huge in social media. Yes, I like LinkedIn, but I'm not huge in social media. So I'm trying to network on Craigslist, which now we understand that's pretty sketchy. And I meet this guy who has apartment buildings and we wanted to get coffee. And he was, let's just say, for lack of a better term, he was pretty sketchy. So he's like, hey, let's take my car and go get some coffee. So we're zooming all over town looking for a place for coffee. And this car, like I moved the trash out of it, right? My feet, I moved all the coffee cups and things. And I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is a good idea. So we're driving. We stop at one place. They don't have coffee. So then we drive into town. And he takes a phone call. And he's one of those guys that I'm not sure if you've ever driven with anyone, but they pick up the phone and they can't do two things at once. So they're like veering all over the road. I'm like, oh, geez, okay. So obviously I'm going to buck up, but I'm just not feeling comfortable. So I'm just thinking, I don't know if I did the right thing. I kind of want to just get the coffee and get out of here. So then we're going into town and we pass a coffee shop. We pass a Starbucks. Then he puts his blinker on and I'm like, huh. And he's turning into a motel. And I'm like, oh God, what did I just get myself into? My wife's going to kill me. Jumping in the car, strangers. So he pulls up into front of a hotel room. And I'm talking about like just a crappy little motel. I'm slowly moving my hand on the door because I'm like, I'm just going to pop the door open and run and I'll make it back. I'll find my car. I'll get back there. It'll be fine. And then before I do, I'm ready. He puts it in reverse slowly and then goes back to the coffee shop. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So after the coffee shop, he takes me to this place. He's like, oh, I want to show you this place. Again, very sketchy. It's like this abandoned house with overgrown garage with an apartment above it. And he's like, come on, follow me. I'm keeping my distance. And he's taking me into the woods. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought it was I'm about to run. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to come in any further. Like it's behind an abandoned house in the woods. I'm like, yep, just not going to do that. It's the way he was dressed too, like flip flops and shorts and a shirt that he's probably had for 20 years. So I'm not judging him, but it's like, you can put yourself together a little bit. And he's saying, I can envision these townhomes here. Can't you envision these townhomes, these condos? Right. And he's like, this is just a great idea. And I'm like, I'm not sure why you're showing me this. Like, I just wanted to see if you had like some apartments to rent. We never got to that part, but I just kind of backed out and I said, yeah, that's great. I got to get back. I got another appointment. Of course I didn't, but I'm like, I'm just lying to get out of there. Dropped me off to my car, said, thank you very much. Now, fast forward 5 years later, what's funny is that they built townhomes on that place and we ended up renting all 4 of those nice townhomes. And I tell people that story sometimes because I'm like, you know what used to be here is this field that this guy took me. So it's just a great, where he wasn't the owner. I don't even think he was like the builder or anything like that. But it's like, okay, well, maybe he knew what he was talking about. Maybe, I don't know, everyone builds condos, so maybe it was a good guess. But I think that was like a funny story that I share with people.
I think I tell you what, I'll bet. I don't know. You guys will have to let me know. Please let me know on LinkedIn if you've ever had this happen. As a young woman, I did something very stupid and similar where I decided to pick up a stranger to help him. I don't remember where I was going, somewhere from North Carolina, South Carolina. And I got so wigged out over whatever it was about this guy afterwards. I mean, I was 16. I was really dumb. I admit it now, but I'll never forget it. He asked me to take him somewhere, and you better bet I took him there and let him off and came home. And it was like an hour out of my way. And I look back now and I'm just like, thank you, God, for protecting me from stupid decisions that I make. And even now, and all the work that we do, I thank God that he does protect us from a lot of stupid stuff. But you're a lot braver than I would never have done anything like that again. I learned as a kid not to do that. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, just don't get in the car with strange men.
No, in real estate, we do that all the time. I'm a broker as well. I had a real estate company, I still have, but in Cary, North Carolina. And I cannot tell you the number of times that I've been in the cars with strangers, but normally I drive my own, even in real estate, especially after sketchy stuff started happening. But you live in Maine. Do you live in a rural area or a tourist? Is your area touristy?
The area I live isn't, but the area that we have most of our properties in, like 2 hours away, yeah, it's pretty touristy, which is where I had this encounter, right? But it was like kind of a slope, and so there wasn't a lot of witnesses to help me.
Just let me ask you this. Is there any other advice that you'd like to give to property managers other than don't get in the car with strangers? Just saying.
Yeah, just generally, I think that people should connect more. I've learned that you'd be surprised how much people will help you with lessons and be honest with you if you just say, hey, have you ever dealt with this before? I think we kind of sometimes keep to ourselves, and sure, we mingle and go to events, but I really have learned, and this took a long time for me to learn, probably a lot of people already know this, that if you just kind of chat with people and you go to them and you say, hey, do you have any advice for me? Like, most people will be really happy to help you out and help each other out. There's so much business for everybody. I think it's this stigma that maybe we've learned to believe that you can't talk to other property managers. And I've talked to a lot of them. I've had other property managers send me business and I'll send them business. I won't send them business of a owner that gives me a red flag, but it just might be like, okay, this owner's going to be picky. We want to be able to help them. But I know another manager who's got a lot less units and really care about quality and they can do it. So it's just connecting. You'd be so surprised where you might get business or who can help you. So just connect with people, right? And like I said early on, don't even think about how, reach out to them on LinkedIn, have a friend introduce you. Just put yourself out there and talk to people. We're all here to help each other. You'd be surprised how kind and helpful other managers are and can be to you.
I'm surprised at how kind people are all over the world. That's the truth of things. I often have people talk about different countries and they're like, they just don't like Americans. And I'm like, I had great experiences there. I think that when you genuinely project a good person, who you are. And I think people relate to that and they're kind back to you.
I believe that as well. Yep. I think most people are genuinely good, right? I believe that 100%.
Well, I'm sure there's lots of people that would prove that wrong, but we are good to go because I agree with you 100%. I think everybody's genuinely good. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and chat. And if people have questions and they want to reach out to you and ask you about growing their business, would you be interested to help them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the best way to do it is that I don't know if you want to give them my LinkedIn handle after, but they're more than welcome to message me on LinkedIn And sometimes I'll check it once a day. Sometimes I'll check it once a week. So sometimes be patient with me. And you're probably the same way, right? Like we're busy, but that's usually the best way. And eventually, if people really need help ongoing, I can give them my cell phone number and then they can shoot me a text. But it's just the best to start in LinkedIn and just reach out. I'm happy to help. And if I don't know the answer, I'll maybe point you to someone that might, or I'll tell you that I don't know. But sometimes it can also help people find out. So yeah, just reach out. Happy to connect with people and just mingle and chat and just stay in touch. I love that. So yeah, they can just reach out right on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Derek's last name is spelled DeCesere, guys, if you want to reach out to him on LinkedIn. Thanks again, Derek, for being with me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon.
This episode of the Vacation Rental Show is brought to you by Rental Guardian. To find out more about how Rental Guardian can help grow your vacation rental business, visit rentalguardian.com. Make sure to search for the Vacation Rental Show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, or anywhere else podcasts are found. And hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. On behalf of the team at Inhabit, thanks for listening.